Welcome to Sankofa Community Affairs with Brother Salim Adolfo. Today we are here with songstress Miss Cecily. How you doing, Miss Cecily?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So it's beautiful to have you on the show here today.
Thank you for having me.
Oh yeah, you're most welcome. After looking at some of your music and actually seeing you perform at Evolve, I just knew that you had to be on the show. One of the things that definitely stuck out to me is that you definitely are not in line with some of the people that we see in popular music. Mm-hmm. And it's good to know that, people are still making music and making songs that actually have some substance to them. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that inspired you to produce some of the music that you produce?
Well, most of my songs are inspired by different love experiences. So I have a project that's coming out in May. Mm-hmm. And every one of those songs is really just about some different experience I've had with some significant other. But since last year, because most of those songs I wrote over the past 2 years, mm-hmm. but in the last, I'd say 6 to 9 months, I've been kind of challenging myself to write songs that are not about romantic love, okay. that are about family love or other types of personal experiences or just, some other type of storytelling. So, but I naturally tend to write about love. That's where most of my inspiration comes from.
So do you write all your music?
The majority of it. On the project I have coming out, it's 5 songs, okay. and I wrote 4 of them, so.
What about the actual music?
Mm-hmm.
Not just the lyrics, but do you write the music as well?
No, I don't. I'm mostly a vocalist. Okay. I don't really play any instruments like that well. So I tend to co-write. So either I have a producer that I like his work and he'll send me some things and I'll just vibe out and write to it. Or sometimes I'll sit down with an instrumentalist, usually a guitar player or a keyboardist, and I'll just be like, hey, play something, and then I'll start writing. Or sometimes I'll write something almost to its entirety with the melody and everything, and then I'll just give it to an instrumentalist that I like to work with, and he'll write the instrumentation underneath. So there's various ways that the songs kind of build and become, but because I'm mostly a singer, I tend to co-write, which I like because I like collaborating. So.
How long have you been singing?
I've been doing it professionally for about 2 years now. So I graduated from college in 2012, and I spent 9 months trying to figure out how I was gonna make music work okay. as a career, and I finally started figuring it out probably the beginning of 2013. So it's been about 2 years now that I've been kind of more focused on it.
What college did you go to?
I went to Swarthmore College, which is outside of Philadelphia. Okay. It's like a small liberal arts school.
And what did you major in?
I majored in political science and I minored in Black studies. So no music in there, but yeah.
That's very interesting. So at what point did you decide though, what was it that said, you know what, I can do this full time?
Right. Well, it took a minute. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes I wish that I had known that I would want to go into music when I was a teenager. So I would have went to a music school, but I feel like I learned a lot in college, so I don't regret that at all. But it was mainly once I was in school, I started performing more on my own and doing more solos, and because in high school I was mostly always singing in groups. Okay. So just the experience of learning that I really like being on stage and that I kind of like being the center of attention.
You're big-headed?
Yeah, I think that I just I really like telling stories, okay. and I really like holding someone's attention, okay. So that's an experience I really enjoy. So, I was at a music festival with my parents when I was a sophomore in college, and I was kind of watching people perform, and I don't remember who it was even who was on stage, but I just kind of realized at that moment, I was like, this is what I want to do. So, I kind of just started refocusing my energy towards music around that time.
What was it like working in a group?
It's good because people call you out when you mess up.
Okay.
Yeah, because I sang a lot in college with a cappella groups where you really have to be really on point, and it's very different than singing on your own because you're constantly focused on blending the sounds. So it's a good experience. It's a good experience. I think that it helps you get ready to, you know, perform with a band because you get to understand how to communicate with people.
All right. Well, we got 2 music videos from you. The first one is Too Much. Can you tell us about this video?
Yeah, so this was actually my first single.
Okay.
And I released this in 2012. And I released the video in 2012. So this is where I started out, yeah.
All right, so you're watching Sankofa Community Affairs with Brother Salim Adolfo. We're gonna go to the video that she has, Too Much.
Too Much.
And then we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Don't you wanna know how I got here? Don't you wanna know why I stayed here? And don't you wanna hear this story of love? Watch it grow and slow. Don't you wanna hear the drama? Don't you wanna hear the pain? Don't you wanna see the smiling faces? How could they leave your heart unstained? But
Welcome back to Sankofa Community Affairs with Brother Slim Adolfo. Today we are here with Miss Songstress, Miss Cecily. I got it right?
Yes,
yeah, I got it right this time. One of the things that you just said in the last segment is that you went to college and you studied political science and you minored in
Black Studies.
How does that impact your music?
You know, more recently it has been impacting my music a lot because I've been, you know, in studying, my focus was mainly on African American culture and history and literature when I was in school. So recently I've kind of been getting into like music history, you know, and wanting to know a lot about the time period of music that I connect to most, which is like the 60s and 70s. And, you know, just kind of trying to understand how the music influenced the people and how the people influenced the music, and, you know, learning all these names and looking at the back of records and reading all the album credits and figuring out who was arranging for who and who was playing with who. And yeah, so for me, I think more recently it's kind of been like getting into the music of that time period of Black American music in the 60s and 70s, like sonically, and also message-wise, like trying to understand how music impacts movements and how the movements impact the music. So,
well, how does music impact the movement?
Yeah, I think I actually wrote a little blog entry about this a while ago. In my opinion, the music never starts the movement.
Okay.
I don't think that's possible. It could be possible, but I don't think that's how it's supposed to work. I feel like the purpose of music is to uplift and to deepen. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds kind of like oxymoronic, but I feel like it helps ground people, you know, and it also helps alleviate the stress. And when you're trying to change things, when you're pushing for things, when you're fighting against oppression, you feel oppressed. And it's tiring. And I feel like the power of music is to support people, you know, and support movements and support change makers. And also to help, you know, I guess, how would I say it? To help center everybody around something. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you find it difficult in today's society to have music that is progressive, that is about change?
No, I don't think it's difficult. I don't think it's difficult, no.
Well, is it difficult to have commercial success with that type of music?
Yes, most likely. You know, the thing is, like, at this point in time, like, I'm not really too hung up on commercial success. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to profit from my art, and I want to be, you know, I want to be sustained as an artist financially. But in terms of commercial success and being on top 40 radio, and that's not really what I'm focused on right now. So for me personally, commercial success isn't something that I'm like thinking about every single day. But I think that the power of today's atmosphere with the internet and so many different ways to reach people is that it's possible to create your niche, you know, to find people who connect to what you're doing, and, you know, for y'all to vibe together. So that's mainly what my focus is at the moment, is just creating that niche and meeting the people that, you know, are going to be part of my tribe, who connect to what I'm doing, and, you know, we can vibe together. So.
All right, so if Time Warner or Universal comes to you, offer you, you know, $500,000 sign-up bonus, but they want you to, you know, put on thong and some skimpy clothes, we gonna see you on that?
No.
All right, you took a little bit too long to answer.
I mean, no. I mean, I would consider signing with a major label, but not if they're gonna push me to be someone I'm not. Right. Yeah, no.
Well, much respect to you for that. Why do you think so many people do go that route?
I mean, some people, that's who they are, and that's fine, you know? Some people, that's who they are, and they're comfortable with that, you know? Like, and I try not, I don't really judge people in, what they're comfortable in and who they are. That's who they are. But I think that the issue is that there's not diversity. There's kind of like one message being told, one story being told, and it doesn't represent people. And I feel like that's why people who take the energy and the time to seek out music that's not on, clear channel radio stations, they find people who they can connect with because they really want to hear their stories being told. And that's not what's happening on, in commercial radio.
Do you think it's an artist's responsibility to make progressive music?
I think it's an artist's responsibility to be true to themselves.
Okay.
Yeah, so if that's who you are, then that's what you do. I feel like you can always tell when something's being forced, whether it's something positive or something negative. You know what I mean? You can always tell when something's being forced and when it doesn't feel honest. And at the end of the day, that's why people like artists. I mean, I personally believe that every person is an artist, but what's, why we are drawn to people that let themselves be artists is because we are inspired by their truth-telling. We're inspired by their honesty. And so I feel like you have to really be comfortable in who you are, which can be challenging, but I feel like you have to really be comfortable in who you are and be willing to be honest about it, and that's when people connect with you.
I see artists such as, like Beyonce or Sierra or what is that, K. Michelle, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, even Kendrick Lamar, Drake, some of the more, popular artists. And many of the people that support them, financially, I don't see where those artists are actually in the community, helping to develop the community, or at least producing music that represents the community. And I know that we say, yes, be true to yourself, but I think at some point, as a human being, especially as a man, you got to say, okay, well, we had all of the different issues around police murder and police terror in the Black community. Those artists have the ear of a lot of people. So do you think if those artists was to make music that was more progressive, that was music that challenged the system, that it will have that kind of an impact in the community?
I think that it does, but I think that artists have to be careful not to appear opportunistic.
Okay.
So J. Cole, for example, right? I mean, when we saw what was going down in Ferguson, he was there. He was on the ground, he was there. He didn't bring cameras, he didn't make a, YouTube video about it like J. Cole and Ferguson or anything like that. He was there. And, he put out the song Be Free that people, I think a lot of people really connected to and like felt the sentiment, and it felt very, very honest. But if you look back at things he's done in the past, like he's been talking about police brutality and abuse of power, and the injustices that communities of color face under the force of the police. I mean, he did a video for his song Crooked Smile, and it was about a little girl in Detroit who got killed when police forces raided her grandmother's home and they shot her. And that police officer was found not guilty, And so he was telling stories, before the nation was really even trying to pay attention. So I feel like, if that's something that is natural for you to do, to connect to that and want to tell those stories, then you got to be doing it. You can't be doing it in the moment, because then people are like, this feels fake, You feel like you look like an opportunist. So I feel like that's important too.
Well, yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. I think, as an artist, you should have the ability to make art for art's sake. And, hopefully we can see more people making art for art's sake and not just making it, for $1. Because I remember in the early 90s when Mary J. Blige was out, there was a lot of Mary J. Blige clones. A lot of people came out wanting to be or have that Mary sound. And so we didn't really see any originality. And I guess ultimately that's what, we want to see from our artists, is some level of originality. You don't have to sound like the next person. We don't have to have cookie cutter, type of artists. What do you think sets you apart from other artists?
Oh, well, I think part of it is what you said previously, like I don't really hop on trends, I'm more interested in creating the sound that I feel like is authentic to me. And, it's still taking me a while to find out exactly what that is. I feel like it takes time and it's ever evolving, but, I'm not just gonna hop on something just because I heard it on the radio. And also, I think I'm a singer. Like, I don't know how to say that any other way, but I really do, care about how my voice comes across, and I practice a lot. Like, I call myself a vocalist for a reason, I practice singing, 5 days a week. That's what I do. And, I'm not really interested in singing the way that other people sing as well. I don't do a lot of runs when I sing because it's not authentic to me. I didn't grow up in the church, and that's not how I came up singing. So I can do them sometimes, when I feel like it's effective, but I'm not running all over the place because it's just not me, And I feel like people sense that when they see me perform, that I care about the way I sound a lot, and it's real, It's not affected in any way. It's just me.
Okay. So we're going to take a break, but before we do that, we're going to go to another video that you have, and it's called Pisces. Can you tell us about this one?
Yeah. So this is an original song I wrote during the time period when I told you that I was trying not to write just about romantic love stories and stuff. So this song is about, just finding yourself and being comfortable in your insecurities. And this is actually a live clip from a show I did at Tacoma Station, and I co-wrote this song with a friend of mine who goes by Diggs Duke, and he's also a DC-based artist. So.
All right, let's take this break and go to the video. You're watching Sankofa Community Affairs with Brother Salim Adolfo. We'll be right back.
I've swum in waterfalls that stung my back, and all I ever needed was to go back. 'Cause even things that hurt make you feel alive, and all I ever wanted was to live before I die. 'Cause there's a river in me, and it pushes my feet, and I'm certain forward motion. Yes, there's an ocean in me, and it won't let me sink, but it's drawing me out. Wash away my self-doubt. I find myself searching along the shore, not ever really knowing what I'm looking for. Caught in imaginings of a different me, still insecure and graceful and somehow free. 'Cause there's a river in me, and it pushes my feet, and I'm certain forward motion. Yeah, yes, there's an ocean in me, and it won't let me sink, but it's drawing me out. Wash away my self-doubt. Thank you.
Welcome back to Sankofa Community Affairs with Brother Salim Adolfo. Today we have Miss Cecily in the studio. We're discussing some of her music and wonderful projects that she has coming up. What do you have on the table?
So I'm releasing my first full project.
Okay.
Well, it's an EP, 5 songs, and it's called Cecily, self-titled, and that's spelled C-E-C-I-L-Y, and that'll be released mid-spring 2015, so
all right.
Very soon.
What's your website? How can people find out more about you?
Yeah, my website is my name, Cecily. Okay. It's cecilymusic.com. So you can find me there. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. My Twitter and my Instagram are at Cecily Alexa. So that's CECILYALEXA.
Okay. So. One more question, and this is something that's interesting because you said you always wrote about love in the past, and now you're trying to move away from that. So who broke your heart?
A few people, but that's not why I'm moving away from the love stories. Yeah. It's just purely out of wanting to explore more parts of myself. Okay. Yeah, just wanting to be more real about myself, because I'm not, you know, like every day I'm not walking around just being all in love with everybody, so.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. Hopefully we can have you back on.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was really happy.
All right, let's give them the website one more time.
Yes, that's cecilymusic.com.
All right, you're watching Sankofa Community Affairs with Brother Salim Adolfo. Make sure you check us out the first Sunday of every month for our Feed the Hood project at the intersection of Malcolm and Martin in Southeast Washington, D.C. Every Tuesday, you can check us out at Emergence Community Arts Collective for our Sankofa Study Circle at 7 p.m. And you can check us out online at nationalblackunitedfront.org. Peace.